When training as a chef, there's one thing you're taught to do from day one, and it's critical. You might forget an ingredient, or you might forget the salt. You might even overcook the food. But if you forget this one step, you might just be asked to hand over your chef's hat and put down your knives. Have you figured out what I'm referring to? It's something that not only improves how your food looks, but it has been proven to have an effect on the perceived taste. I'm referring to garnishing. Today I want to talk about the what, the why, and the how of garnishing so that you can incorporate it into your own cooking. It's different working as a chef in a restaurant, but let's be realistic. In a typical family, not every meal is a fancy meal. But when you want to be fancy, it doesn't have to be hard. Garnishes are one of those little things that can easily up your plating game. I hope that by the end of this video, you'll see the value in garnishing your food, whether it's just a small garnish or something more elaborate. Before we get started, I'm interested to know if you already garnish your food and what some of your favourite garnishes are. Let me know down below. So first things first, what is a garnish? Simply put, it's an embellishment added to food to enhance its appearance. It comes from the French word garni and is a technique to finish a dish. A garnish can be something as simple as chopped fresh herbs to something weird and wonderful like foam. You're only limited by your own imagination. Garnishes can be anything accompanying the main component of a dish. Leafy sprouts or microgreens, fresh herbs, seeds, a sauce or a jus, to name a few, are all great garnishes, and they not only complement the appearance of the dish, but also add flavour and colour. So think about the flavour of your garnish and whether it works with the taste of the dish. Fresh herbs and salad greens are great for garnishing plates, platters, or any dishes really. It takes their presentation to a whole new level. Whether you're adding little bunches here and there or chopped herbs on a particular part of your plate, it adds some well-received greenery. Why not try it and see what sort of compliments you get? Sauces are a great garnish too. They're added to food for flavour, but can easily be used to enhance the appearance of a dish. Thicker sauces like pea puree blobbed onto a plate look stunning. Differences in the thickness of a sauce can create amazing effects when used separately or combined together. You can go from a runny herb oil dotted around or a rich deep jus to a thick puree in a multitude of colours. It's amazing how a sauce can transform the appearance of any dish. Edible flowers are a great colourful garnish and really add to the presentation. These are nasturtiums. They make a great garnish on a summer salad or platter. I've even seen nasturtium pesto recently, made from the lovely peppery leaves. I might have to give it a try. This brings us to the next point. Why do we garnish? Well, it's an embellishment added to food, so it enhances the food and makes it look better. Some people say, why does food need to look good? Well, I keep saying this over and over again, but it really is so true. We eat with our eyes before we taste anything, and so if it looks good, our perception of the taste is so much better. A little spot of colour gives your eyes something to feast on before the taste touches your tongue or the smell reaches your nose. Imagine how bland a fillet of poached white fish with a white wine sauce served on a white plate would look, without a lemon wedge and a bright sprig of parsley. Such a simple garnish can make a dish appear so much more appetizing than the same food without the garnish. Garnishes enhance the flavour of some dishes too. Lemon with seafood not only adds yellow colour to the plate, but the juice can be used by the diner to add flavour to the food. Fresh mint can lightly infuse a dish with the herb's refreshing flavour. This is why it's so important that a garnish complements the flavour of the food it's served with. any dish needs to be balanced. Garnishes can enhance a dish by increasing the complexity through an added dimension of flavour. Rethink your garnishes to understand what to use and where to use them for an elevated meal. If you're going to the effort of making food, it's not much extra effort to garnish it and add to the appearance. Your family and guests will love it. Before we get on to how to garnish, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Taryn. I love all things food and especially food presentation. If that's something you're into, make sure you like this video and subscribe for lots of tips and ideas. So this brings us to our next question. How do we garnish? There are lots of different ways you can garnish your food at home. I try to think about what I can use to garnish that is really going to add to the food on the plate. For example, if you're making a salad, you could add a little more of an ingredient already used as a garnish on top. If you can choose a component with a contrasting colour, it's even better, since then it would not only look good, but also complement the flavours perfectly. Or you could try adding something that might add texture, like these crispy fried shallots. Just make sure your garnish is in proportion and adds balance to the plate. When garnishing, a great tip is to take a step back from your dish. Look at it and see if it's visually working. Keep your garnish simple and plate it with a light hand. The saying less is more is very relevant in this situation. A tomato rose is a very classical garnish. To make them, you start by cutting into the tomato as if you were going to slice it, but don't cut quite all the way through. Then peel the tomato skin into one long thin strand. Go carefully so that it doesn't break. Then you simply roll up the long strand and it will form a rose shape. It will be a bit slippery, but once you get it started, it will come together easily. Roll it onto the flat piece cut at the start to give it a sturdy base to sit on. I don't use these very often, but I can't say they don't have a place on a buffet table. Another very classical garnish is a spring onion curl. When you leave these in iced water, the thinly cut strands curl beautifully, creating a lovely garnish. These are also common on a buffet. As a general rule, garnishes should add a layer of texture and excitement to your dish and make sense with the dish they're served with. Think of them as an understated wow factor. So after serving your beautifully garnished main course, the next thing you'll be thinking about is how to garnish a dessert. In this video here, I talk about some quick and easy garnishes you can make with chocolate that will make your desserts look really fancy. Happy garnishing!